All right, the Old Man Logan event is over, and I want to talk about it because it is kind of a situation where it's good, bad, and ugly. Actually, there's very little good, and it's mostly ugly. It's just, I think this was a disaster. I don't think the community's happy about this. So let's talk about the good first. The good is that I have a 55-day-old account, and I was able to get a 4 Old Man Logan with a 700,000 power Extreme X-Men. It was a pain, but I ran it multiple times. I think I ended up doing a difficulty 14 with 65 worth of the packs, 11 million points. Was able to unlock Old Man Logan with a 55-day-old account. My wife's account, which is about 6 months old, beginning of the year, was able to get Old Man Logan using an 800,000 power Sinister Six, where he spammed Mysterio over and over again. Both of those experiences were good. I had fun playing both of them. It was challenging. It was hard. I had to do things like time the Mysterio special or move Nightcrawler from Raider to Skirmisher and focus in on killing off the Kestrel. It was fun. And I believe that's where it largely ends, is that newer players had a relatively easy time on getting a 4-star Old Man Logan, and he is very, very powerful. But then we have the gating, and there's a couple problems with the gating, and we knew this was going to be bad from the start. Having, a 5-star Cosmic Ghost Rider, Starbrand, I don't want to upgrade Starbrand. Black Knight is fine. Cabal is fine, but I don't want to upgrade bad characters like Starbrand, right? So, if you didn't have a 5, you pretty much got the 4. But if you had a 5, and I did have 5 on these teams, and I just want to explain my personal experience. So I was able to go into difficulty 12, and I was able to put on all the difficulties and get through it. And this is where the problem is, that everybody could do that, or a large number of players that had 5s on Out of Time and 5s on Cabal could go into difficulty 12 and turn on all of the packs, all of the Scourges, and I was watching it. I had a score of 2,000, then 3,000, then 4,000. Then I had a score of like 4,700. And then I was like, oh my God, I've got to run it again if I want to get a 6. I just kept watching my score drop and drop. And then it wasn't about it was about efficiency. Had nothing to do with packs. The packs were meaningless. You just turned all of them on and ran the highest difficulty that I was allowed to do. And so I did that at the last minute, and I was able to get a score, in the top 2,000, 5,000. Now, this is why this is important, is that, if the thinking behind making it gated between 5 and 6 and 7 on Cabal and Out of Time is to give, the heavy spenders an advantage, did they really get an advantage? Did we have any meaningful gameplay outside of my 55-day? Not really. No, we didn't. So I was able to replay it, and I got to say, boy, it feels bad if you were at 5,001. And, basically the way the tiebreaker works now is that, whoever got there first, whoever got this score first, is who wins. There's no doing it the way they do it or unwinding it. No, if you got 5,001, you did not get a 6. You got a 5. And nobody wants to be at 5,001 or at 501. It's going to feel bad. And the tiebreaker system, I don't know what other way they could do it, but a lot of people have said things like, well, that doesn't really help people in the wrong time zones. And I just don't know what would be a better way of doing it. I wish they would do it where the tie scores would get the higher payout. I just don't know why they can't be doing, why they do that, and why they have to favor the people. It's the same argument as before, but why do they have to do it like this? I mean, they're only going to give out 500 sevens and 4,500 sixes. And so they're just trying to, basically allow the spenders to get what they get and kind of handicap everyone. So what I'm trying to say is I really didn't have meaningful gameplay at difficulty 12. It just wasn't meaningful gameplay. Yeah, I could do it more efficient. Yeah, there was a team that I could use that can get through it in faster number of turns, but it's not really meaningful gameplay. Now, the people at sixes probably could one and done it. Anybody that had a sixes and could have gone into difficulty 14, they pretty much could have went into difficulty 14, ramped up all the scourges and go through it, do it once, and then they were able to get a 6 Old Man Logan, but they had no meaningful gameplay. None. They just did it once and they were done. And so the thing there is, though, I had 5s and I got a 6, and the people that had 6s just got a 6 by doing it once, didn't have any competitive gameplay. They just went in there to do it. Now, this is where I don't understand, or why they would do this way, is that the people that had 7s, same thing, just max difficulty, going to 15, and then there were over 600 people, some numbers say 630 people, that were basically scrambling at the last minute, not to learn how to do it better or turn on more scourges. No, because all the scourges are turned on and it just becomes an efficiency game. And they effectively pissed off 130 people, perhaps, that spent money to get a 7 Cabal, a 7 out of time, and they're going to get a 6, just like me, who has 5s. This is not a success. People should be pissed off. Why do they have to do it like this? I don't understand. I've got screenshots of it right here. These are people right here. To get this score, you had to have 7s to get into difficulty 15. And these people right here did not get a 7-star Old Man Logan. They got a 6. Just like me, who had 5s. Weird event. Garbage event. So I wanted to read a couple Reddit posts and just kind of go over what the community is thinking. Same thing, around 130 to 200 people with 7 required teams will not get a 7-rest Old Man Logan. So this is the part of the event that I don't understand. If you're going to do it this way to incentivize people to buy 7s and, gift the heavy spenders a 7, well, that didn't even happen. So why do it this way? If you're going to piss off your best customers, why piss them off? It just doesn't, it's baffling to me that they would do this and potentially piss off 130 to 200 of their best customers by doing it this way. Let's read this. This is from Steven Rastelin, mod here on Twitch, always makes good posts, and he thought of some things that I didn't even think of. All right. Do want to acknowledge, regardless of how people felt about the Star Wars, there was another issue that players should be upset about. Boundless teased players about the Mercs for Money Legendary for months. And for that time, they let players believe the unlock would be like past trials. Then, when it was finally time for players to prepare to unlock Old Man Logan, Scopely pulled the rug on those players with their Stargate announcement. This was a 100% jerk move. And what this is incentivizing me to do is to hoard. I know a lot of people never stopped hoarding, but because of the way that they're doing this and potentially the way that they're doing the next legendaries, I have stopped opening premium orbs. I have stopped opening basic orbs. I have stopped opening mega orbs. And I know a lot of people say, well, I've always done that. And the reason for that is when it comes time for the next legendary, I can open these. And maybe those characters for the next legendary will be in there. And by saving them now, and for then, when those contents is added, then I'll have a better chance of getting into the next tier, which is 5 or the 6s or whatever, right? They're basically incentivizing hoarding. Not only are they incentivizing hoarding with this, but also, same thing here in this Spotlight Raid Orb, if you already have Void Knight at 7, there's no reason to open these. So like, I'm just sitting on these. So I have gone from almost not hoarding at all to completely hoarding again. And I just thought that they were done with hoarding. So let's go back to read the post. That was the type of thing I would have expected from old Boundless a year ago. Since that time, they have proven that they can do better. So yes, the players and Boundless should have an expectation for Boundless to do better. Here's what I learned. No Old Man Logan calendar. I didn't even think about that. We never got the usual calendar of 5 shards for each required character. Can I remember last time that we did not have one? That's true. Yellow Star is a major gate. When diamonds were announced and 7 reds were made more available, yellow stars became one of the primary gates. We saw it for Satellite, and now we see it for new legendaries. Players probably need to adjust and prioritize their character orbs and Ultimate's currency appropriately. Boundless listened to player feedback and or tested the trial. I did not know about this. After players complained about ML Loki requirements, they did. Boundless removed the original pact of Now You See You and replaced it with Glorious Purpose, Hard as Diamonds. They also removed Super Scroll from Node 2, even though it showed Super Scroll and enemy in-game node preview. The problem was for me on this right here is it didn't feel like the packs were meaningful. And I'm hearing that they weren't really that meaningful at any level. You just had to turn all of them on and go into the highest difficulty that you were allowed to go in based on the stars on Out of Time and Cabal. So it didn't feel like the packs were even important. Why have the packs at all? Just turn them all on. It didn't seem like it mattered. Trials continue to have extra gates. Boundless advertised that stars on Out of Time and Cable ML Loki were going to be awares players needed to do well. However, at higher difficulties, having a big enough Spider Society and have a Super Scroll were also needed. That's something that I did not take into account. I have these teams, so this was not an issue for me personally, but I didn't talk about this earlier, but I guess this was like a third team you needed. You pretty much needed to have Spider Society. It was like a third team. Surprise! You need to have Spider Society, right, for those hero skill nodes. Many players are unhappy they are locked out of more challenging difficulties. We do not get much new content in Marvel Strike Force. The first new trial in about 6 months, so when we get new content, it really needs to count. Boundless wants to gate the rewards. That's one thing, but I don't think they should. I think it's terrible. But players should not be gated out of challenging difficulties for a little bit of new content that we actually get. So I don't know I don't know if I'm wording this correctly, but Marvel Strike Force has always been on some level pay to win, but now it's pay to play. If you actually want to play at a higher difficulty and have engaging content, you got to spend money to access it. All right. Spending data appears that 500 players had the 7 required teams. Looks like it was over 630, but it appears about 2,000 more players had 6 required teams. Put that in perspective, about 1% of the entire player base. Not sure how many bigger spenders a game like this should have, but it may explain why Boundless has been trying to retain their spenders more in the past year. No 1% reward. Thanks to Bendable Straws, we know there were about 181,000 players with a minimum score of 100K as of 2 days ago. So there will be no payout for 1%. On a positive note, 180K is about 8K more players than the second Black Cat trial back in December 2003. Did not know that. Tiebreaker is still not the best. Seems very ill-conceived to have a tiebreaker based on who finishes the first in a global game. The best solution probably to minimize ties from occurring. I agree. Having better packs? Yes. Or more efficiently scoring factors besides just how many total turns a player took on a node would probably do a much better job of limiting ties from occurring in the first place. Unanswered questions. We know nothing about the future Old Man Logan events. Do not know when the second run will be. In the past, it was about 3 months. That was before they stated they were slowing the new legendary cadence. Also did not know if or when the reward structure tokens will change or how players will be able to get higher stars on Old Man Logan. For example, only 500 players be able to get a 7-star Old Man Logan next time if it runs 2. I don't know. I do not know, but it seems weird. Seems bad. I do not know. So, I don't know. I just don't like this. The way it was played out feels bad. I just don't think it was a good experience. But I will acknowledge that I had a good experience on my baby account, my 55-day-old account. I thought that was pretty cool that I got Old Man Logan, and he is really strong. Now, a lot of people are asking, when are the payouts? I don't know, but we've typically not gotten the payouts less than 1 day from the end of the event. So I'm expecting it anywhere from 1 day to 3 days after the event ends. Sometimes they have to sort out the leaderboard. In the past, they've taken extra time to make sure there were no bad actors, and also because of the tiebreaker issue. But I believe the tiebreaker system now is in place under the who finished the node first system. So what do you think about all this? Also, they changed the battle pass around. I just want to take a shout out to Baka. Less character shards, more teal origin gear, less gold, more blue ions, blue fours, less dark promotion credits, and a little bit more crimson uniques. Still not a lot of crimson uniques, but some. And then lastly, I got to just do this because I haven't done this in a while. I really hope you liked today's video, because if you did, you are in luck. For every single person that likes this video, you will be getting for free in your account an 8-star Crimson Ghost Rider Tony Stark. I was just kidding about this. I was like, Ghost Rider Tony Stark. We have so many Ghost Riders in the game and so many Iron Mans in the game, so why don't we get one with both? And then someone, I think it was Steven, said, you know, that's a real thing, Iron Ghost. There actually is a Ghost Rider Iron Man in the comic books. We're getting it next. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Bye for now.
Castro.